right, coming to the stage. Put your hands together. Song for the very funny Tom Kelly.
How you doing? Sounding good tonight. Great. A lot of good comedians up here. You don't have Green Acres by any chance, do you? Just wondering. Remember? Green Acres is the life for me. Is it really? Seriously, think about this. Green Acres. Do you remember the cast of Green Acres? You had Mr. Kimball, who always would just degenerate right down. He'd come out and he'd have Mr. Douglas. He'd have to come out and say something like, "Mr. Douglas, going to have to come out and plumb bob your farm." Well, maybe not plumb bob your farm, maybe measure your farm. Well, maybe not measure your farm, maybe just come out and look at your farm. He just kept going down and down and down. He was a whack job, but you had Mr. Haney. Mr. Haney. Mr. Haney would always pull up in that Beverly Hills modified junk truck of his, and he'd always try and sell Mr. Douglas something. And he always had that voice like this. I don't know whether he was doing whippets or helium, but I remember one episode he tried to sell Mr. Douglas a water tank. And it was like, "Mr. Douglas, I've got this great water tank for you. It's $1,000, but for you, I'll make you a deal, just $300. And he'd say, "Well, what's so special about the water tank?" "Well, it doesn't hold any water." So end up, Mr. Haney would walk away with an Indian head penny and a bar of chocolate. And he wasn't the best salesman, obviously, on the planet. And then you had Ned. Ned was the first doofus on TV. Ned would always have something, a catastrophe going on. He would always say, "Mr. Douglas, crickets ate all the corn." What? "Mr. Douglas, crickets ate all the corn." And he'd always have a solution. "But that's okay, we can eat the crickets." Then you had Lisa. Lisa, how many times did Lisa Douglas, Oliver's wife, burn the toast? Every episode, she... Second time up here and you give me the crickets. She'd always burn the toast. Didn't anybody ever tell her there was a little dial on the toaster that said light, dark, light, dark? But Mr. Douglas, Oliver Douglas, he just couldn't stand these people, and I thought he all thought they were whack jobs. But who was the one that was climbing up the telephone pole making the phone calls? It was always Oliver Douglas in his three-piece suit. And he'd always go down to Sam Drucker's store. Remember Sam Drucker? Are you guys, you remember Sam Drucker? Yeah. And he'd walk in, and it always freaked me out, and even if you're 7, 10 years old, you figured this out. It always blew you away. He'd walk into Sam Drucker's store, and there were the two engineers from the Cannonball and Uncle Joe. And you'd sit there and you'd go, "Wait a minute, hang on a second, I'm watching Green Acres. You guys are from Petticoat Junction. You could never figure that out." But that always amazed me, even at a tender age of 7. I just always confused me. But I watch a lot of daytime television. I have one of those jobs that affords me the ability to do that. It's called unemployed. I don't know if you guys have one of those jobs.
All right, give it up for unemployed.
But there you go. Easy job, isn't it? Nothing much to do, just lay around. And I watch a lot of early morning television. There's a couple of commercials that always seem to come on. One is the scooter, the glorified wheelchair. Now, I think this is cool, but this scooter store comes on, and they make it sound so easy. All you got to do is just 1-800 blah, blah, blah. We'll send it to you. If you don't have the money, Medicaid will pay. If Medicaid doesn't pay, just keep the scooter. And I'm watching this commercial, and I don't know if you guys have seen this commercial or not, but at the end of this commercial, there's a helicopter that pans away from these two 95-year-old women. They're sitting on these two scooters. They're at the top of the Grand Canyon. And they're waving up there, you know, there they are, sitting on my two scooters. Nothing else around them. They're at the top of the Grand Canyon. And I'm thinking, if 95-year-old women, these two 95-year-old women can get to the top of the Grand Canyon, why are we using those in Afghanistan? Crickets, please. But I'll tell you where you're going to get killed on a scooter. I'm telling you, this is at the grocery store. The other day I was at the grocery store. This woman makes a turn on 2 wheels, comes around the aisle, and she's barreling at me, and I'm thinking, Jesus, I could get run over here. And I'm thinking, if you're run over by a scooter in a grocery store, do the cops come out and actually put the police tape around the aisle? Bob, put the tape there at the produce and run it down to the Hallmark cards and then back over to the meat department. And they do a chalk outline on the floor where you are. The surprising thing was, this was a very heavy-set woman. She was probably about 350 maybe. And she was in the snack aisle. Now, if you're 350 pounds and you got to shop by using a scooter, don't you think that's the last aisle you would be in? I just had to have those double stuffed Oreos. I don't know about you, but I was craving those pecan sandies. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming out for Farmers Party.